tried to warn you, bro. It is
You
a
did.
mess in downtown Nashville every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Not even
We moved hotels the next night. I still am waiting on my refund for that. But yeah, we moved hotels the second night.
Wow.
It was fun. You say they rely on them. We went to brunch with my buddy the next day, who is a Nashville native and has lived in Nashville long enough that he remembers when it was more than just the Bachelorette capital of the world. And he's like, yeah, we're pretty much on the woo girl economy.
Yeah, that's precisely what's going on. The downtown businesses cater to that. If you try to get it shut down, you're probably the one getting thrown out. It is what it is right now. It's weird, but Nashville, baby. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So I will add one more small part to this story, and this is the part, frankly, that I've been waiting to tell you all week as well. That was kind of part one. We got quality Yates reaction. Part two, as we leave the hotel the next morning to go to breakfast. Remember, the wall's very thin. So it's not going where you think it's going. But as we walk down the hallway, my dear sweet wife just starts saying in a slightly elevated volume of voice, you know, it's been proven that the later groups stay out and make noise and all this stuff at their bachelorette weekend, the higher the divorce rate.
Oh God!
In the wedding,
So
and also the better
trash,
chances,
basically.
and also the better chances.
Wow. Okay. Okie dokie. So Rachel was pissed, basically.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of tolerance for the woo girls. They say on the internet, like, feel free to post stuff, you know, like your friends' photos, do whatever. But like whatever you do for your own well-being, don't read the comments. Comment section, bad idea. What do we do?
We read those comments, baby.
That is exactly what we do. That was a little bit better. I still feel like that one was a little muted. I think sometimes it feels like you build yourself up a little too much, and then sometimes you don't
I ain't
quite
want to
go
go
for it.
screaming all the way. The thing is, though, my mic is a little lower than yours, so maybe I could have actually, did what I really.
Mike
set
also
out to
moves. You can go, ooh. Did you know you could play tricks with a microphone?
do. I think I'll try that next time.
Okay. You want to give another shot? Or you
We read those comments, baby.
There we go. All right. I feel ready now. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app and streaming live on YouTube with a brand new look at youtube.com/@theteam980. You see our beautiful new graphics with the DC skyline. Look, Anthony. Look how pretty they are. Ooh, no, Anthony, not you. You put your pretty boy face on. Anthony's like, oh, look at me. No, the graphics. You look as great as always. But the graphics is the new thing.
Yes, they are fire.
So you can check those out. Watch us any day, every day at youtube.com/@theteam980. And tell you what, Anthony, you know what it is? It's the first show after a game day.
Uh-huh.
You think the people remember what happens on the first show after a game day?
I think you need to remind them, Mr. Craig.
So we do this thing. We call it First and 10 because we do it first and there's 10 observations. So we get right to it. Typically, we don't have new graphics to celebrate and introduce, so we just get right to it. But alas, let's get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time in the 2023 season, it is time for First and 10. First segment, 10 observations about the Commanders, in this case, win over the Cleveland Browns. You love to see it. It is preseason, but a win is a win. Thing number one, the offense. It was good. Andrew Wiley aside, who we'll get to in a moment, but it was a good outing for this Commanders offense. That third drive is really where they put it together. But even on the first drive, before the Wiley penalty / the Bates drop, same play, they were starting to move the ball a little bit. They had a rhythm to it. There were some things that you see schematically where you're like, oh, that's better. And better is better. So I like the crispness. I like the snappiness to it. I like how they got in and out of the huddle. You had no pre-snap penalties. You had no confusion on where guys were supposed to go. And that was not just the first team. The second team, the same. The third team, like even though the production obviously wasn't fantastic, it was that kind of stuff was generally there. The quarterbacks had options. There's some execution issues. Obviously, you got the wacky interception at the end of the half. We'll talk about that in a second as well. But you see the promise, the potential of the first and the second team offense, which for preseason game number one is what I would like to see. Thing number two, pressure caused the only major quote-unquote issues for Hal. I thought Sam was good. One of the sacks that he gets is on him. It's a 4-man pressure to a 3-man slide. That is on the quarterback. He's got to know where to go, where to get the ball out. There was an option open. He did not get there fast enough. Learning opportunity, and he's going to have those this year. Like, we have to make a pact. You, me, together, as radio hosts and radio listeners, going to make a pact right here, right now, to not freak out at every mistake Sam Howell makes. We intellectually know, going into this season, there are going to be some learning curves. He's going to have games where he's awesome. He's going to have games where he probably, if we're being honest, he's going to have one or two absolute stinkers at least. But there's also going to be the roller coaster ride in games of him having moments of brilliance and having moments of, let's call it not brilliance, and moments of learning. We call them growth opportunities. And you saw some of those against pressure in this game. Obviously, some of the pressure is on the offensive line, specifically Wiley. I guess I should mention now, Wiley made the same mistake twice, and it was a technical error. Ron talked about that in the game, or in the post game, and again today. Like, it's a technique issue, and he's not wrong. He's not BSing you. He's not leading you astray. They're trying out a new technique thing for him. Logan describes it in detail on the podcast, which you might have heard already, and if not, you'll hear coming up at 4:30. But on the third drive, Juan Castillo had gotten in his ear and been like, dude, stop doing this. Fix your line. And he fixed it, and you see what you get on that third drive. So all in all, a good day and all the fixable stuff. And the pressure, I would say are not schematic issues, and the ones that were on Hal were learning opportunities. Which brings me to number 3. It's easy to see the system, quote unquote, work. You see options for Sam Howell to get the ball out quickly. You see the matchups like getting Jahan Dotson on a safety, one-on-one in man coverage. You see Terry McLaurin get a catch just kind of in the rhythm of the offense. Not, hey, where has Terry been? We got to force him a ball. You see him just get a catch in the middle of the field because he's the guy that the ball went to. You see Cole Turner running free. And they're not even running stuff yet. You see it all. And once they can get their best stuff going, they get the screen game going a little bit. And by the way, you saw the running game get going a little bit. I think you see what this offense should look like. Rivera, after the game, talked about Eric Bieniemy calling plays and kind of the offensive operation as a whole.
I thought the operation was outstanding. I love the rhythm they got into, and I thought that his play calling rhythm was really good. I love his positivity when he's talking to the quarterback. He called a play and he told me, hey, this should work. Let's go get it now. Let's go. I just love the way he does that, and it instills confidence in our guys when they're calling plays. I thought the operation was outstanding. I love the rhythm they got into, and I thought that his play calling rhythm.
And that's what happens when you forget to turn the loop button off. You get bonus Ron Rivera. Look, I think it's hilarious that the EB, go get it, is still present in games in the headset. He says it every play in practice, and that's great. Hey, this should work. Go get it. And Sam did a good job of sticking with it. And I think the biggest thing for Howell in general is that you see that the game is not too big for him. It's not too fast for him. And that's really the number one thing that you could take out of this preseason game, and you saw it in spades on Friday night. Number 4, screen game still needs work. But they're also not calling their best stuff. Like, they called one screen where it's kind of a one-man show for Nick Gates. That's all due respect to Nick Gates. That's not their best one. Their best one's going to have Sam Cosmi and Andrew Wiley out in space. It's going to have more complexity than what that one-man show with your center out in front is. Gates misses the block. He's got to make it. Them's the breaks. It's a hard play. But if you're going to call that, like, he's got to make the play. Negative mark on Nick Gates. It's one play. It doesn't mean Gates stinks. It just is the case on that particular play. They called one other one that didn't go particularly well either, forgetting the details, but that is going to be a really, really important part of their offense. And so hopefully you see some good ones against Baltimore in the joint practices and throughout the rest of the preseason. And really, honestly, I'm not even going to freak out about it if they stink the rest of the preseason. Save your best ones for the regular season. Hit them. Number 5, our 1st and 10. First segment, 10 observations. We do it after each and every game. So next one will be next Tuesday following the Baltimore game here on the Hoffman Show. Chris Rodriguez showed what he cannot show you in camp. It's fun to play running back and have a bunch of guys tell you, oh, I tackled you. I tapped you on the butt as you went through the hole. And just smile and smirk at them and go, try to tackle me in real life. It's something the Commanders, or his Commanders teammates will never have to do, at least not while they're his teammate. Whew. The Browns found out that is a hard task to tackle the 6th-round rookie from Kentucky. He breaks through contact. He had a ton of carries over 5 yards. I think he had the highest yards per carry average of any back in the NFL all weekend long. Chris Rodriguez is going to matter for this team, and he showed you what he can't show you in camp, which is his tackle-breaking ability is real. Number 6, the 2 picks. Brissett playing hero ball at the end of the half, and I'm not really sure why other than it's preseason, and I don't particularly care. It is kind of the right read. Dude's open if he can step into it and put the ball in a better place about 15 yards deeper, 5 yards into the end zone instead of, off his back foot with that much trajectory, allowing the safety to come and get it. But if it's a real game, does Brissett do that? I don't know. He might have been like, whatever. It's preseason. See what happens. Give my guy a chance to make a play. Which, also might have been, hey, I'm going to give my guy a chance to make a play. And depending on the time score situation, that could or could not be the right play. Realistically, you'd probably rather just throw it out of bounds as he's facing that pressure or whatever he can do to get a smaller gain and to see if you can get into field goal range. But he throws it. The second interception late in the game from Jake Fromm, that's on Fromm. The good news is it's a good read, and it's a fantastic route. Curtis Hodges is open. If that ball is on him, he might split the safeties and score. If not, it's a completion inside the 10-yard line, if not inside the 5. Instead, he puts the ball out in front of him so far that Hodges can't even kind of play defense on it. We talked about it on the pod with Logan. Like, it's one of those where as a receiver, you're going to be like, I got to find a way to break it up. Realistically, it was the end of even the 6'8" Curtis Hodges catch radius. Not a lot he can do there. Number 7, team speed on display defensively. Dude, when Percy Butler got the interception and started running, oh my God, that guy is fast.
I joked on the pod, like on Take Command, like can someone just catch the kickoffs and hand the ball to Percy Butler if he can't catch kicks, and then just tell him to run as fast as he can straight? Because, wow, he has got speed. But you also see it, him running down running backs, from the backside. Like, you saw it in a bunch of ways. He's going to find snaps this year because he's playing really, really well in camp and obviously played, again, opportunistic on the interception, but really has been playing well, been in the right spot a bunch. Speaking of guys in the right spot, Jeremy Reeves arrived at the right spot with bad intentions. He played fantastic football and has been consistently in camp. And Christian Holmes, a little late on a couple coverages, but there to make nice physical tackles, not giving up big plays, and he was great on special teams. You see the team's speed that they've accumulated the last couple of years. That is clearly an emphasis, and it is about to pay off for them big time this year. Number 8 on our first in 10. We've talked about the depth, and we're going to go through this a little bit later. 5:30 today, our updated roster projection. But we've talked about how much depth they have at the defensive end spot, and how are they going to get all these guys on the field and on the roster. One way is they're going to try to put extra of them on the field at once. They are going to rush some of their defensive ends from the 3 technique spot. And whether that's in the Cinco package where you've got an extra 3 technique, or, Jonathan Allen gets a rest, whatever they do, they play a double 3 technique, and Payne gets a rest. Like, they'll figure out the rotation. But add James Smith-Williams to the list of guys who have been doing that. F.A. Obata's been doing it since last year. Chase Young has done it in camp. James Smith-Williams in this game rushed a couple snaps from the 3 technique. And if they think that those bigger defensive ends can handle that, that presents real problems for a defense. And Jack Del Rio talked the other day about how they're trying to develop packages. Very clearly, that is one of them, and something they were willing to show in this preseason game. Number 9, the one that a lot of you might have been waiting for, sans the Andrew Wiley one that you were also waiting for, because for some reason there is just a section of the fan base that waits for us to try to kill people and write people off. And it is what it is. But no, Quan Martin did not have a great day. Unfortunate for the rookie, but he also didn't have as bad of a day as people think. Showed a little something on special teams. The second defensive pass interference call is a pretty soft call. I thought it was pretty good coverage, and he should have actually had a PBU. The touchdown's not a good look. But let me posit something for you. Quan Martin is a rookie. Quan Martin has not played a lot of NFL football. In camp, the extent of his NFL football, right, training camp, he's been playing probably about 5 different positions. Nickel, buffalo nickel, corner, safety. He's been all over the place. And there's only a limited number of goal line reps. And within those goal line reps, different personnel packages are in or not. And when you're on the goal line in, say, a certain play call, you might have specific rules. And that's what they were in. They were in a 0 blitz. He had no help. So how many reps at corner, or at the nickel, I should say, has he gotten in 0 blitz at the goal line? It can't have been many. There's no way it's more than 5, and it's probably closer to 1 or 0. And so what it is a learning opportunity. And to see people trashing him and saying it was a waste of a second-round pick because he gave up something in a preseason game, which is a prime learning opportunity, is to misunderstand the entire sport on the professional level. Guys learn and get better. Now, if he gives up the same thing again next week, then we can have a different conversation. But give the kid a freaking chance. What are we doing? I shouldn't say what are we doing. What are y'all doing if you're the ones that are crushing it? And if you're, having patience and you're like, hey, ignore the stupid people on the internet, like, thank you for having a rational brain about this. But it is the kind of thing that is a very, and on one hand, it's important to point out, it's very specific to situation, alignment, all these kinds of things that are very, very detail-oriented. But also, these are the details that win and lose you games. And so these situations come up, you watch the film, you correct them, and in this particular case, it doesn't cost you the game. Even in the preseason, it doesn't cost you anything that matters in the regular season. Hopefully, he's in position next time. Who knows? Maybe he baits a quarterback into a pick later in the year in the same position, and we can all look back and remember that we said it might happen here on August 14th. Last but not least, something I've been keeping an eye on and got me a little nervy. I'm not going to lie. Cameron Cheeseman had a couple more bad snaps in this game. It's never good if I'm closing out 1st and 10 with talk about the long snapper. But we're going to briefly mention the fact that on the made field goal from Joey Sly, that's a good pick by Tress Way. The snap is low. On the punt at the beginning of the 4th quarter, it was another low snap. The new guy, Kobe Wadman, had to go down and get it. He did. So it's not like he snapped it 7 yards over a guy's head. And look, not every snap is going to be in the breadbasket. Like, I think holding is a way harder job than people realize. Like, there is a ton of, let's call them moving snaps. It's within the radius, but it's not always like no movement. That's the league. And punters and holders, in the Commanders' case, it's the same guy in Tress Way, typically. Obviously, Way not punting in this one as he deals with a little lower back tightness. But you have to have the athleticism and the hand-eye coordination and everything. But also, if snaps are consistently all over the place and you're never seemingly getting a good one, like, that is a problem. And that is the kind of thing where a coach will just say, hey, there's enough long snappers out there that we can go find another one. And Cameron Cheeseman, in camp has had some snapping issues. Apparently, he's working on a new technique. And if we're going to give Andrew Wiley the chance to work out his new technique issues and work with his coaches and do it, I think Cameron Cheeseman obviously gets the same thing. But that's got to start getting better. And it's something to kind of put a pin in, keep your eye on. And if all of a sudden they get to the end of camp and, there's been more issues in the games, do they bring in someone on the practice squad? It's pretty easy. There's not exactly a high demand for long snappers. Getting a guy on the practice squad's easy. And do they ultimately make a change? These are the kinds of things that I wonder moving forward, because the details, they matter. And a point here or a bad snap on a punt there could very well cost you a football game in the regular season. That's 10 things. It's our 1st and 10. We do it each and every day after game, preseason and regular season, here on the Hoffman Show. Still to come on the show today, Sam Fortier joins us at the top of the hour. Pro Football Focus's Trevor Sikaba joins us at 6:30. And next, Logan Paulson pops on the show, take command style, so you will hear his breakdown of the offensive line. Was it actually as bad? And really, not even as bad in this game. This game is one game. The context is what it is. But is there actual cause for concern moving forward for this unit? We'll break it down. Leno all the way through Wiley across the line. Couple thoughts on some of the depth guys as well. That is all to come here on the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kramer.